All right, welcome to 7.4. Once again, we are kind of switching gears into congruent triangles. We've seen how to construct equilateral triangles, how to make triangles the same size. We've seen things like that. But we've never really talked about triangles and whether they themselves are congruent to each other. So, we know two triangles are congruent if all the pairs of corresponding sides are congruent and all of the corresponding angles are congruent, right? And that word is key, all. If we didn't know that all of them were congruent, are they still congruent? Technically, there are some cases where it has to be so. Okay, there are some given amounts of information that because of this, it is implied that others are, right? For example, we have this case down here. It's called angle, side, angle. Okay, what we have is an angle that has been marked congruent, very literally, a side that has been marked congruent, and then another angle that has been marked congruent. We are not saying that angle A and angle B are the same. We're not saying R and S are the same. We're not saying B and R are the same. You can see the clearly identified markings. But is that enough? Does that truly mean these two are congruent or those two congruent? Does it truly mean that these angles are congruent? Technically, yes. By rigid motion transformation, those things must be congruent. So based on this diagram, which ones are congruent? We can say that angle A is congruent to angle R because of the one congruency mark. We can say that angle B is congruent to angle S because of the two congruency marks. Which sides? We would say that AB congruent to ST. But that's all we're given, right? That's all we're given. We don't know yet, I just told you, but we don't know yet that those truly are congruent triangles. You could have one like this, and then one like this, right? But even so, we saw that I just changed that size. Because of that much information, we know this isn't possible. It's not possible to have the same angle, side, and angle, and have a completely different outside. We know that those have to be the same. We would need, if we want to really convince ourselves that these were congruent, we would say that angle C has to be congruent to angle T, and side AC congruent to side CB, and, no, just kidding, not even close. AC congruent to RT, and side BC congruent to RS. Okay, so we'd have to convince ourselves those two are the other ones. Using tracing paper, I'm going to prove that you can. Okay, so let me get my tracing paper. I haven't even opened the box yet. Oh, jeez. Okay. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to try and really trace that guy. Okay, so here's my ABC. Here's A, B, C. Now what they've told me is that these sides match up, right? These guys here. Well, clearly that didn't work, right? But that's okay because they didn't tell me that A matched with S. That was my bad. They told me A matched with R, so I'm going to have to flip this guy over. Hey, look at that. That's kind of cool. A matches with R, B matches with S. Two sides are the same, and they actually are congruent. Fabulous. Alrighty. That is basically how angle, side, angle was created. Well, let's look at what transformations I actually just did, right? I was here, and I said, okay, let me just rotate. No, first let me translate. Shoot. Well, that didn't work. Let me rotate. Oh, hey, that didn't work, right? That whole speech about it not matching up. And then I had to what? Reflect. And ta-da, it matches up. So I actually got all three out of this. You could argue a flip and translate, right? So a couple different ways to get there. And so kind of just put down whichever ones you want, but we can see that it actually worked. Sweet. All right, moving right along. So angle, side angle is a proven case. Whoa. Let's kind of do the same thing now with the other ones. Let's use tracing paper, kind of see whether this is enough information. So here's another piece of tracing paper. Let's kind of figure out what is our given criteria. By the way, that whole speech about transformations is right there, so we're not going to read it. Using tracing paper, here's our triangle. But what case do we actually have? We have the case of a side matching up, an angle matching up, and another side matching up. Okay, so is that enough? Does that mean it's truly going to be congruent? Well, let me take my tracing paper now. Make sure I put J, L, K, and my facts, the only things I know. Okay, does that mean it's truly going to match up? Let's see if I turn it. Well, hold on. They said that K matches with Q. Oh, nope. See, my lines don't match there. So maybe I do what's that called? Reflection. Hey, look at that. It does match up. My 1 to 1, my 2 to 2, and I get congruent. So yes. Let's see, what transformations did I just do? Well, I had to mess around with it. Definitely translated it. Rotated it. Nope, not a rotation. Maybe just a reflection? Nope, not just a reflection. It looks like I had to do both. So all three, I had to translate, rotate, and reflect. All right. Cool, so it looks like that one works. Fabulous. Moving on. So far, we have the angle, side angle works, and side angle, side works. Let's see what this case is. Here we have angle, U to R. We have O to Q, so another angle. And we have I to P. All right, well, the other three work, so let's go ahead and use tracing paper for this one. All righty. Okay, here's U, O, I. Okay, let's see. U went to R, right? Okay, so there's R. Oh, okay, that didn't work. Let's see if I can flip it, because O and P are supposed to go together, right? Ooh. Ooh, that's interesting. They all match up now, but they're not giving me the same line. That's not the same line. That line's longer than that line. It looks like that's not enough information. Interesting. So we're not guaranteed with angle, angle, angle that that's going to work. The transformation, maybe we'll try a different set of transformations, right? Because all I did was try one. So maybe let's translate. We'll rotate it. Okay, that looks better, but I'm not matching up the right pieces. I got to match up those right pieces. Huh. Yeah, that one's not working. No matter how I get there and match up the pieces, those pieces aren't giving me the same sides. And so I cannot say that angle, angle, angle works. All right, bummer. Moving on. All right, given information, let's try this one. I've got I to Z, that's an angle. I've got a side and a side. Whoops, no, maybe I don't want to write it that way. Let's do side, side, angle. How I write it is actually pretty important, but you saw that I just wrote a bad word, so I probably shouldn't do it that way. This is not quite the same case as this, so let's look at the two. Here we can see, let me try and make sure I get this on the screen, side, angle, side, right? The sides were kind of sandwiching the angle. Is that the same case here? Not quite. We need two sides and an angle, so this would be the other side we would need as given criteria. Not quite the case. So this is a different case. It's kind of the same logic behind angle, angle, side, and side, angle, side, right? Or I'm sorry, angle, angle, side, and side, angle, angle. Those ones are actually the same, but we can see that these are two different cases, even though they have the same pieces. All right, well, does this case work? I guess it's kind of maybe a moot point, right? Maybe this case works. We wouldn't have to worry about it. Okay. Oh, let me draw the triangle first, sorry. 1, 2 sides, 3 sides. Okay, and they're saying these sides match up to those ones. All right, so now ooh, looks like I maybe only need rotation. Nope, no, wait. Huh, I got 2 out of 3. But we can see this side's going the wrong way. it should be going in, not out, right? It should be going in, not out. That's interesting. Okay, so I guess side angle side, or accidentally the bad word, does not prove congruency either. All right, so the insurance company, AAA, and the bad word, ASS, do not prove congruency. Okay, well, there's only one more case. There's one more case. Let's see if that one works. What happens when you have all three sides? When I have all three sides, I've got side, 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 right? So side, side, side. Let's see if that guy works. Okay. Let's see. Oops. Okay, I gotta be accurate about this, right? Let's make that a little better. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2. Okay, now it looks like I can just go like this. Just kidding. Let's go ahead and flip that so that 1 matches with 1. Oh, very nice. I know my sides are a little crookedy, but this one does match up. This one you can see is not as dramatic as the last two, and so it looks like side, side, side works. All right. Transformations have been the same as always. Translate, this one was just a flip, but it worked. Cool, so it looks like side, side, side is valid. The only two that are not is the insurance company and the bad word. Those two combinations do not necessarily prove congruent. That doesn't mean they're not, right? Like we could get a triangle that was congruent, because in congruent triangles, like these ones here, our angles are the same as well, right? A matches with, let's see, 2, 3. A matches with P, C is gonna match with R, and B is gonna match with Q. That's still a true statement that the angles all match, but that wasn't the given information. That's not enough to say that it's congruent, right? If we have 3 sides, we're good. If they give us 3 sides, we're good. Then we can say the angles are the same. But just because they give us 3 angles, well, we can prove. Here they gave us 3 angles, but these were not the same triangle. And so that's not enough to say they are congruent. Okay, doesn't mean they aren't. It's just not enough to say at this point that they are, right? Which is a very big different thing in math. Okay, so let's kind of make a list. We had side, 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 check. We had angle, side, angle, check. Side, angle, side, check. And side, side, angle, check. Oh, no, we didn't. Sorry. Side, angle, angle. Or angle, angle, side, check. I remember that one's a bad word spelled backwards. So no. And the angle, angle, angle. And these are the 6 possible combinations you can have. So these are the only ones that we'd have to test. 4 of them worked, 2 of them did not. I don't know if we actually did test out angle, angle, side. Did we? We did not. But angle, angle, side also does work. Angle, angle, side's a little weird, but it, oh yeah, it asks you down here to do it. It's got some stuff to it. It should be added to the list. It's a little weird, but it can happen. Alrighty, we're going to skip over this hypotenuse length thing because we'll get there, but not today. Alright, if you have any questions at all, ask the sub. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.